And we are live. We are live, people. Welcome back to the channel. It is Chosen Wisdom Football, a channel for the football purists, for the critical thinkers, for the Manchester United fans who like to think about football. We say what we see on this channel, not just how we feel. We aren't just emotional. We try to be objective. Keyword, try. Big up, everybody. I hope everyone's having a good day. It is Wednesday. It is the middle of the week. It is almost the weekend. But what difference does that make if there is no Premier League football on the weekend? This 2 weeks is going to be a 2 weeks of torture, but we can survive it together. I hope everyone is having a beautiful day, a beautiful week. Make sure you smash that damn like on entry, turn your notifications on if they're not on, and if you are new to this amazing new channel that is making moves, then subscribe below. Apologies off the bat, should I say, for not having a show yesterday. I did promise a show yesterday, so apologies, people. Too many technical issues. We started the show, we went live, but our PC, the laptop that we have, just wanted to do its own thing. So apologies for not having a show yesterday, but we're here, people. We are here today, and we are going to have the show today. Big up Shivam already in the chat. I hope you're doing well, my friend Shivam. As usual, if you're new, just let me know where you're logging in from, where you're watching from. Big up TK in the chat already. Big up all the regulars and everyone who's not a regular, who is new. Please be welcome to message, start a conversation. We are a good bunch here. So guys, what do we have in store for today? What do I want this show to be about? Yes, the transfer window has close, whether you are happy or you're sad, or maybe somewhere in between. The transfer market, the transfer circus is not something that I really love. I like to talk about actual football, not whether this person's coming here or not, and all of these things. Sometimes that can be a bit frustrating. So the transfer window is closed. Our business, people, is done. Now we can analyze. Now we can assess. Now we can judge. Now we can have conversations about our signings, about our main signings. Where do they fit in? What is your view on these signings? Who do you think is the better signing? What ideas do you think what's going to happen to these signings? Do you think they're going to flourish? Do you think any of them are going to flop? Where do you see them fitting in to the team? If you could rank the signings out of 10, how would you rate the signings? Are you happy with the signings? So today we will talk about our signings. We will talk about Lammens. What's in store for Lammens? What is our view? What is my view? What is your view, people? Your view on Lammens, the signing, how good he is, how is he going to fit? We'll talk about Cunha. We'll talk about Mbuemo, Sesko, and we can, if you want to, talk about Lyon. Even though Lyon is a young signing, we'll talk about it. So we will go through our signings together with you guys, and we'll give a review, an analysis, an assessment on our signings. You guys will also let me know what you think about these signings. So we're going to have that really good discussion, the way that we like to have discussions on this channel. And it's going to be fun, going to be interesting. So that's what we're going to do. We're also going to have a little conversations on the aftermath. There's bits and bobs about Onana potentially going out on loan. There's Harry Amas at Sheffield asking for financial help. And we're going to end on Laurie Whitwell. As you guys may know, there's a lot of information. There's a lot of things that went down in the transfer market that was embargoed. That means we were not allowed or not privy to certain information while it was happening. Now, Laurie Whitwell has written a piece where he's given us an insight about exactly what happened, why Manchester United went for the players that they went for, why we didn't go for certain players. is very, very interesting and very, very telling. It talks about Project 90, discussing Amarim's Beleba push, Hoyland, and a lot more. It's a very, very insightful article, guys. And I think there are a lot of quotes coming out from that embargoed information that we now have that you guys are going to want to know if you don't know already. So there's information on Garnacho and Amarim, why Martinez wasn't selected, when Amarim lost faith in Onana, why did he lose faith, what's happened, United attempt on signing Laurie Delap, why didn't we get Laurie Delap? There's also information that we were going in for DANNY WELBECK. Yes, people, DANNY WELBECK. And of course, as you guys have heard, this Project 90. What the hell is Project 90? What is Project 90, people? I've heard it. You've heard it. As Manchester United fans, we need to understand these things. I always say this. If we don't understand what the hell the people at the top are doing with the club, then how can we call ourselves Man United fans? So, we're going to be all over the place today. You know, we should have had the show yesterday. Apologies once again that we didn't, but we are here now. So big up the chat. Jerry jumped in. Big up, Jerry. What's up, mofos? Says Jerry. Get in, my guy. I hope Lammens isn't another flappy keeper, says Jerry. And Shivam says, I have a sense that Lammens will be great. Positive. That's it. Let's be positive. Jerry says, I don't get the Donnarumma and Trafford transfers. Trafford won't be too happy sitting on the bench. Jerry, it's good news for us. We want Man City to have problems. That's their problem. They want to get Trafford, tell Trafford that he's the number one, and then a day later, go and get another goalkeeper who is number one. That's why I always say to you guys, as much as we want to hate on players, sometimes the clubs take the piss out of players. Sometimes they do, you know. Jerry says, I don't understand my wife. Never mind Project 90. Speaking a different language to Jerry. This woman, speak to Jerry properly, you know. But yeah, I hear you, Jerry. I'm with you in that one. I don't understand mine either. But it is what it is, man. You know, men from Mars, women from Venus. It is what it is. But jokes aside, guys. Jokes aside, let's start. Should we start? Should we jump straight in then? Should we jump straight in? We'll go through the players. I'll give you, my thoughts on the players. And you guys jump in the chat. We're going to go through our transfer window. Not the players that are leaving. We won't discuss any outgoings. We'll just discuss the incomings. And since Lammens is the first one, well, the last one in the door, let's start with Lammens. So let me know, guys, your thoughts on Lammens. I mean, I don't think we're going to have a lot of thought on this goalkeeper. Like, we're going to have thoughts and discussions like on Cunha and Mbuemo, because let's be honest, guys, not many of us know a lot about this goalkeeper. Let's be real. And I don't know much about this goalkeeper. I've seen what most of you guys would have probably seen on YouTube. I might have watched one or two of his matches because I know we were going to get him, but I'm not an expert on this player. All I can say is this. I know many of you guys wanted Martinez, and I understand why you wanted Martinez. I fully do. But I was encouraged by this new goalkeeper. I'm encouraged by what the likes of Wilcox and Vivell have said about him. I'm encouraged by the fact that we were scouting him for 8-9 months before we bought him. That's what I'm encouraged by. The noise coming out of Belgium is that he's going to be Belgium's #1 goalkeeper in the next 2 or 3 years. That's the noise. Courtois said it himself that he will be Belgium's #1. I know some of you guys in the chat have said at the moment he's not even in the Belgium squad. Belgium have decent goalkeepers. They do. But the conversations about this goalkeeper are promising. The issue is he is on proven in the Premier League. We don't know what he's going to do in this league. He's an unproven entity, and I understand the uncomfortability. Is that a word? Yes, that people feel, because at one point, or let's say in general, the club's ethos is Prem proven. We've had Prem proven 100 times, and that's what we have gone for mostly this summer. Sesko doesn't fit that. Neither does this goalkeeper. So why have we gone out of the Prem proven model for this goalkeeper? Why have we done that? Is it his age? His age has definitely got a part to play in it. He's 23. He's got a lot of development to do. However, when I look at this goalkeeper, and like I said, I haven't seen a lot of him, people. Not a lot, but he's a good shot stopper. Everyone says he's a good shot stopper. He seems like he's a good shot stopper. He speaks well. I've heard the interview. Kind of monotone a little bit, but I've always said I want a boring goalkeeper. I want somebody who I don't even notice. I want somebody who just self-assured, calm. I need another Edwin van der Sar. Someone who's not a hothead. Someone who's not, doesn't think the world revolves around him. Quietly goes about his business. This goalkeeper feels like that. Listen, a lot of what I'm saying about this goalkeeper is not going to be proven until we see him. Right? It's not. But I'm okay with this goalkeeper. None of us have seen him in the Premier League, and we are talking about, can he handle the crosses, the corners, yeah? The free kicks, the hustle and bustle in the penalty area. What's he going to be like under that sort of pressure? What's he going to be like when he puts on that Man United jersey and the media? All of that pressure, we don't know. Is he going to come in? Many people think he's going to be maybe Bayinder's understudy, because it is clear that Bayinder is our number one goalkeeper. Will he come in straight away, people? Displace Bayinder? Will our manager throw him straight in? Or, as many people think, will it be 2-3 months slowly creeping? Slowly but surely take that number one spot? Is that going to happen? You tell me, people. You tell me, people. Shivam says, I have a sense Lammens will be great. Bulldog said Bulldogs are from Bulldogonia. Bulldogonia. Turkish says there's a lot of people who think he will start against City, and I think that's crazy. Turkish said, good point. Give me boring over inconsistent any day. So yeah, I mean, that's my... Jerry says, someone put a compilation of him with crosses and making saves. It didn't give me confidence, says Jerry. Shivam says, by the way, many reported that he is not that good at catching crosses and air balls and makes quite a few mistakes. So there you go. People in the chat, Jerry, Shivam in the chat, saying that he's not that great, this goalkeeper, at coming for crosses. I'm not gonna lie, Jerry, saying that he's not great at making saves, which is like the number one job of a goalkeeper, it's not great. I haven't seen, guys, anyone say that he's not great at making saves. I've seen some people who have their reservations, like he's not that great at crosses and he's not that physical. But there's a lot of stats out there, and I know it's hard to compare leagues, so we have to take it, with a pinch of salt. But there's a lot of stats out there that show that he's quite a decent shot stopper. So I understand the apprehension. British Bulldog says the hair was Bobbins for 2 years when he joined before the super keeper we ended up with. And I think that's probably what they're thinking, British Bulldog. They're thinking that in the next 2 years, this goalkeeper is going to be one of the best goalkeepers in the world. That's the idea with this goalkeeper. If you guys actually look at the goalkeeper market right now, just like in many other positions, I don't think the goalkeeper market is that good, guys. I don't think, yes, the goalkeeper market in the sense of upgrading what we have, I don't think we have to look very far to upgrade what we have. But the goalkeeper market in the sense of getting world-class goalkeepers, where are they? Where are the world-class goalkeepers, guys? Where are they? Where are they? It doesn't really. There's not too many. There's not too many. I would go as far as say goalkeepers these days are just functional. Squads nowadays are so systematic. They're so system driven. Yes, you have one or two, maybe Alisson you can call world class. Maybe, yeah. Maybe one or two more. But there aren't 30 world class goalkeepers around. I don't think. Anyway, I put a stat up for you guys to see regarding Lammens, right? And caveat it one more time, he plays in a different league, so we just have to remember that context when we're looking at any stats regarding Lammens. So I get it, but more clean sheets, almost double the amount of saves, conceded more goals, maybe playing for a worse team. Goals prevented, that's impressive, 18.4. So not a perfect goalkeeper. Not a great goalkeeper. But I think he can improve, this goalkeeper, and become better. Sorry, not the greatest stats, but I think he can improve and become better. Shivam says there's always room for improvement, whereas Onana and Bayern cannot improve, so I prefer Lammens. British Bulldog said this is why we should have gone for a ready-made. Jerry says true. Shivam says De Gea was 18, 19 when he joined. Yeah, De Gea was a good 4 years younger than Lammens, which is true. That is true. As De Gea said, oh my God, I'm getting more than vexed up now. One joining. What happened, British Bulldog? Why are you vexed? One joining City, one staying at Villa, who wants United.
But you're going to talk about Martinez later, and it's actually he was never affordable because his wages are more than Bruno's.
All right. British Bulldog says City get Donnarumma and get training keeper. Wow, and people are okay with it. How well trained have they got you? Oh, sorry, I'm confused. British Bulldog is saying that he wants. I think British Bulldog saying he wants Martinez, and he's. Are you angry that people like Lammens? Is that what you're saying, British Bulldog? Or Turkish said BB. I read that couldn't even afford the wages for Martinez. Shivam says error leading to goals cannot be 3. It should be at least 10. And also seeing that 1.5 makes me laugh crazy. Good point, Shivam. He was kept in the background as second choice. True. Listen, you know me. I'm not going to get angry or anything when it comes to these things. I'm just going to give my opinion based on who I think we should have got and how I think we should play or could play with the goalkeeper. At the end of the day, guys, we have this goalkeeper. He's here. And so we have to talk about what we have. Some of you guys, as I said, don't like the goalkeeper, don't want him, but there's nothing we could do. He's going to be our number one goalkeeper. Probably, if everything goes well, he will probably be our number one goalkeeper for the next 5 to 10 years. So fans accepting. I don't know what you want him to do, British Bulldog. We have to talk about the players that we've signed. And we've signed Lammens, so we're talking about Lammens. And like I said, a lot of people just preferred Lammens over Martinez. But I think my question to you, British Bulldog, is if I can see both perspectives, future against current, and if I can do this, is it possible for you to also understand why Vivell, why the board, why they went for Lammens? Is it possible for you to maybe not agree, still disagree, still have your opinion, but at least understand why? Is that something that you could do? British said, I hope he does well, but it's poor. I hear you, British Bulldog. British Bulldog says Lammens or the Lammens signing is poor signing, people. Very strong opinions on Lammens. clearly preferred Martinez, like a lot of you guys preferred Martinez. And I've said many times, I completely understand why people wanted Martinez. I'm not somebody who doesn't understand points of view. Shivam says, seeing the stats, if Lammens can be 60 to 70% as good as stats, we know it in a transfer and getting in him. Listen, all I'm going to do is wait and see, guys. I think with this player, and we've got Vivell and we've got Wilcox for a reason, so they can scout, so they can get gems, right? And this goalkeeper is supposed to be a gem. That's what he's supposed to be. He's a goalkeeper that other clubs wanted, other clubs tried to come in for, and he's supposed to be the next goalkeeper up, right? That's what he's supposed to be. So I said it last time that I'm putting a bit of faith in the scouting system and in Wilcox and Vivell. That's all I'm doing. And if they're wrong, if it proves that this goalkeeper is not good enough, then he's not good enough, and we go and get a new one. That's kind of where I'm at with this goalkeeper at the moment, people. Got British Bulldog said, I do understand, which is why I think it's messed up. We are Man United. Wow, look what they have taken us to. City getting Donnarumma, says British Bulldog. We should have got both of them, said British Bulldog. Okay. Yeah, the issue is it's hard, guys, because I understand your opinions, but I also know the context. I also know we can't afford 300 or whatever Donnarumma's wages are. We're never going to pay that. It's more than Bruno's. So, like, I hear you though. I completely hear you guys. It's all about opinions, people. It's all about opinions. Yeah, let's go and talk about Cunha. Mr. Cunha, people. Cunha, who we bought for £62 million, included in last year's books, so we can balance the books a bit better. Our first signing, we got this signing done very quickly, very efficiently. It was a release clause. It's a signing that I think a lot of us kind of knew was going to happen or could happen. Some of us thought it wasn't going to happen if we didn't finish in the Champions League spots, but Cunha didn't care. He still came anyway. His career up until now, some people could argue it's been kind of hit and miss. You know, before he was at Wolves, I think he was in Spain doing okay. Then he came to Wolves. He became Wolves' main player, I guess, over the last 2 years. His final year at Wolves, he really did well. That's when he got his numbers up. Some people have reservations over him, being consistent, have reservations of him potentially being a kind of big fish in a small pond type player who might not do it at Old Trafford. I've always been an admirer of him. I've always thought that he was talented, that he was a good player. My issue with him, if I did have one, was consistency. I didn't see him as a consistent Premier League player. But like I said, over the last few years, especially for Wolves, he's shown that level of consistency for me. Cunha is a very good signing for Manchester United. And let's not forget this, we have, and we're going to talk about Mbuemo as well, Cunha and Mbuemo, two footballers who were two of the most productive footballers in the league in terms of output, in terms of goals, in terms of assists. If you marginalize output in terms of just goals and assists, then those two, Cunha, which is the one we're talking about, he was up there, guys. So we have a player here. We needed desperately somebody in that left 10 position. Whether you like Amorim, like his system, think it's going to work or not, Garnacho in that left 10, guys, just wasn't working. Garnacho is a winger. He thinks like a winger. He's not a number 10. He's not that type of footballer at all. And when he was in that, he didn't hold the inside position, guys. Garnacho just held the width and then drifted inside. He didn't know how to play that position, and I don't know if he ever will. He's just not a 10, guys. So I'm happy that we've got Cunha. Really, really happy. Like I said, the first signing of the window, his ability to dribble with the ball, use both feet, carry the ball. The way that he carried the ball for Wolves, relieved the pressure as well. Very, very good. Very talented player. The question is, guys, will he do it for Manchester United? Will he do it for Manchester United? Can you see him being our number 10? Well, it depends on how long Amram's here, for the next 3, 4, 5 years. First 3 games that we played, he started well. In my opinion, he started well, but he's drifted slightly within the games. We're not really playing to his strength. The manager so far has started him most of the games as a striker rather than his left 10 position, which is a bit worrying for me. I don't know what you guys think. For me, like I said, very good signing. I think there's a lot more to come from him. It's only been 2 games anyway. He is going to be, I think, our next Maverick player. He's the next Bruno. When Bruno leaves, he potentially is going to be the player that we look to, which means he's going to have a lot more responsibilities. I think the first 3 or 4 games of the season, I think the pressure of the sort of the big signing, the big fee, I think that's got to him a little bit. I think I see him snatching at his chances a little bit and not being the most composed as I believe he should be in front of goal. He's had a few chances, guys. He's had really, really clear chances to score and he's not scored. So I don't know, guys, I hope not. I really hope not. But I don't know if Cunha might be a big fish, small pond sort of type player who might not do as well for United. I don't know, guys. I'm just putting it out there with regards to Cunha. But good signing for me. Very good signing. Here's an injury update. I've got an injury update for Cunha as well. Essentially, his injury isn't as serious as we first feared after initial scans, which is what I thought. I mean, we saw him walk off the pitch. So I think we can clear, or at least feel, that his injury is not going to be as bad. And the news coming out of Old Trafford right now, or should I say Man United, is that it's not going to be that bad. So he's actually done some gym work. But United have agreed for him to stay and recover at Carrington. So I just hope that this international break, these 2 weeks, he has time to recover, to recoup. So, you know, will we see him at Man City? Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. But one good thing about potentially, listen, I don't want a player to be injured. I've always said this. But the silver lining, I was going to say, about Mason Mount being injured, if there is one, is the fact that the manager is now forced to play a striker. He has to start either Xerxes or Sesko now. He has to. So let me know what you guys are saying about this signing, Cunha. What do you think he's going to bring to Manchester United? You know, let me see what the chat is saying. How many strikers were ahead of Sesko? And I like Sesko. BB, you're making a point about how the club uses narratives to influence fans for sure. Sesko was 6th choice, says British Bulldog. Well, apparently he wasn't 6th choice, according to United British Bulldog, but we'll get into that as well. 6th choice striker and training keeper, but we are happy. Hopefully they work, but don't tell me this club cannot beat Man United, because it can. We Glazer United are the problem. I'm watching Everton, thinking that we complete seriously think about that. All right, cool. We need TK. All right, so that's my thing about Cunha. Let's talk about Bryan Mbuemo. There's conversation about who's gonna have the bigger impact, Cunha or Mbuemo. I think Cunha, for me, might be slightly the overall better footballer overall in terms of. But then I go between the two. I think Cunha might be his ability to dribble with the ball, use both feet. But in terms of output, I think Mbuemo will get more goals than Cunha and potentially more assists than Cunha. Mbuemo, I've always said this, he's a very efficient footballer. Very efficient footballer. He reminds me, and I'm not saying he's as good as Mo Salah, but the way that Mo Salah just gets 1 yard with his left foot, bang, bottom corner or top corner, Mbuemo is similar. Mbuemo, and I've said this before, even the goal that he scored, the 2 goals that he scored, especially the first one, he doesn't need to go past his player. He just needs to shift the ball slightly just to his left and smack. I like that. He just needs a yard to shoot. I think I think Mbuemo is going to do bits for us. I think he's going to be absolutely fine. He's already started fine. He's scored 2 goals already. Could have scored more. He's going to be, guys, for me, our outlet. Yes, Cunha is an outlet. We can give Cunha the ball. But Cunha in that left 10 position, I think he's going to drop deep and we're going to feed him. Cunha's going to drop deep, but Mbuemo is going to be the one on the shoulder of the defenders. We've seen it. And if that's the case, if we're going to use Mbuemo as a relief, if we're going to get the ball to Mbuemo as quickly as we can, run those channels, stretch that defense, I think he will be absolutely fine. He is a very, very good signing, people. I honestly think so. And also the thing about Mbuemo for me, when you look at his stats, people, there's been a clear progression in his game from this first year with Brentford to his last year. You can see he's just progressed and progressed and progressed. So we hope he continues to progress, and who knows, he might be that Mo Salah for us. He might be that guy on the left to just give the ball to him inside the box. People will be terrified. He shifts it to his left, bang. I hope he is. I'm very, very happy with both Cunha and Mbuemo. And the thing is, guys, I've said it before. When we finished the season, when we lost the Europa League final, guys, nobody thought we were going to get Cunha and Mbuemo. Nobody thought we were going to get the two out of the top 4, 5 top Premier League players. We were going to get 2 of them in terms of output. Nobody thought that. So that's why I want you guys to, approach this with a bit more objectivity and probably less emotion, if you can, and try to see things from different perspectives, if you can. I always open the show by saying the same things, So let me know. We spoke about Lammens and we've gone to Cunha and now Mbuemo. Yes, the saga was crazy. The saga was annoying as hell. But this guy just stood there, stood firm. We promised him we're going to come in for him. We did. The fee, probably a bit more than what we wanted. But we got our man. People. So I think he'll be fine. I want him and Ahmad to really form that relationship down that right-hand side. I want them to know each other. I want them to understand each other. Certain combinations, certain teams, Beckham and, I know the obvious one is Beckham and Gary Neville. Those two were like brothers. They knew each other. Gary would sit, Beckham would run, Beckham would sit, Gary. They just understood. They just knew things. And I want Ahmad and Mbuemo to have that relationship, guys. I need to see the cohesion. So I'm happy with Mbuemo and I'm happy with Cunha. I understand Lammens. I wouldn't go as far as say I'm happy with Lammens, but I understand Lammens and I just hope. Lammens is the one that I just hope that we've got right. And that's it, Let's see what the chat is saying. TK says, let me go back up. Let me go. Exactly said, I'm watching everything. Good, read that, BB. I think you are going to grow your own striker with JJ in a few years. United will become a place where youngsters can grow and make it in the first team in a few years. Turk, that's great for sure. Not enough. We'll go home for about 2 to 3 years. Yeah. TK says, I've been listening for 30 minutes and the whole goalkeeper thing, you guys seem pissy because we upgrade from 2 imbeciles. I don't think fans know what we have in Lammens. Stop watching YouTube vids. Yeah, I've said TK. Only thing I can do, TK, is just wait and see. Like, I can't be angry yet. Maybe we made the wrong decision. Maybe Vivell and Wilcott were wrong. Maybe. But until I see this goalkeeper, I'm not gonna. You know, when you just like, I'm not gonna get. There has to be a reason why I'm angry, and that to a certain extent, I get it. I do get it, guys. But I don't know, people. TK, I will have to respond to that. You think I watch YouTube videos to form my opinions? Oh, what I'm gonna do is, for the respect to you, have a different view. That's it, guys. That's it. Different views, guys. Different opinions. No one's saying Martinez isn't a bad goalkeeper either, per se. I never said he's not good. I've not said that. If you do not understand, the price is why we got the keeper. We got, yeah, that's, to be honest, British Bulldog saying the price is definitely one of the reasons why we did get him. That's for sure. You guys were all crying for Martinez. He is done as a keeper. Done. Be glad the club made a move to replace our current goalkeepers with a player that fits the long-term plan. And I think, TK, that is the point. I think, and that's the point I keep saying. I think, like, the club is recruiting for the long term, and I get it. Short term, a lot of people have short term. They want a goalkeeper for now, and we should have a goalkeeper for now. But it's clear that the club is recruiting for the long term. Listen, none of us know how good the goalkeeper is going to be. So we all have to wait and see. That's the beauty of the situation. We will all know very soon, guys. I reckon we'll all know very soon. So it's all good, baby. It's all good. We do what we say. Tell us what to think on the next subject to my friends, so I know what to think and say. People accepting mediocrity is wild, and not realizing they've been conditioned. Lammens is bad on crosses, says TK. You guys get this expert opinion from Situation Football, Real Time, or just YouTube vids? Anyhow, I think it's a great signing. I'll be quiet now. No, TK, we need different opinions in the chat. We need people who don't like Lammens. We need people who like Lammens. We need people who don't like Martinez. We need people who like Martinez. We need all different types of opinions, as long as you have something behind your opinion and you say, listen, I like this thing because X, Y, Z. We need different brains, bro. I always say, listen, the world is good when everyone thinks differently, in a way, because that's what makes things beautiful. That's why football is beautiful. So many different managers with so many different systems, so many different interpretations of the game. So many. So Lammens in, Cunha in, Mbuemo in, Benjamin Sesko. This is the interesting one, guys, because first of all, one of you guys already in the chat said he was our 6th choice. I don't think Sesko was our first choice. So I'll definitely agree that Benjamin Sesko was not Manchester United's first choice striker. Right? Laurie Delap was. And we'll get into the details with regards to what happened with Laurie Delap, because, as I've said, the embargoed information regarding the transfers has now been lifted. So we have a lot of information. We now have reasons why we didn't get Delap and all of these things. And in my opinion, if we got Laurie Delap for £30 million, we potentially wouldn't have got Sesko for 75 million, which means we potentially would have had more money to do more things. But unfortunately, the transfer window did what it did. Delap We thought we were getting him. Last minute, our manager decided to lose against Spurs. And that one loss against Spurs, not being in the Champions League, made Laurie Delap say, no, I'm going to Chelsea. Even though we've been speaking to Rory for a while. But here we go. We're not talking about that now. We're talking about Sesko. Sesko, once again, not the Prem proven model, because we did that first of all with Delap and we didn't get him. So we pivoted away to a signing that we have been scouting once again for about 2 years. We've been following Sesko for at least 2 years now. We're not the only club to be doing this. I think most clubs with a brain would be following Sesko. The striker market right now is atrocious. There's not a lot of... How many young strikers out there that are banging on the door that are just looking absolutely worldies? Not many, right? So we're starving. The whole world is starving. So 22 years old, the same age as Højlund. He is not the finished article either. He isn't. He isn't. And I, just like some of you guys, wanted more Prem proven. I wanted Prem proven. I started getting used to the idea of Mateta. I know British Bulldog in the chat, Mateta's your guy. The more you spoke about Mateta, BB, the more I said, yeah. I was getting used to the idea of Mateta. I still think, even though we've got Sesko, we still probably should have gone with British proven. Or Prem, should I say Prem proven. But we've got this signing now. We've got him. And he is still one of the most, well, not anymore, because we had him. But he was one of the most sought after young strikers in the world. His attributes, what we know of him, he has speed. He's quick. He's not, for a 6'5" striker, he's not as slow as he could be. I've seen 6'5" strikers who are very, very slow. He's got some speed. His shooting technique is fine. It is sound. We've seen him score. He's got a leap on him. He needs to get better at heading the ball, but he can head the ball. He's got a leap on him. He can do the combination play. He can do the link play at a decent level. I'm not going to sit here and say he's the best link man, because I'd be lying. But he can do it. He can do it. At a foundational level, his footballing ability, his footballing foundations, i.e. the ability to pass, the ability to control the ball, the ability to move the ball at your feet, just the basics, the foundations of football. He's got them, and he has them more than Højlund. He has more footballing fundamentals that we can build on than Højlund does at his stage in his career. It doesn't mean he's going to live up to that. We have to do what we didn't do with Højlund this time, and we have to do it better. We have to develop him. Now, that's where, and some of you guys will say, listen, once again, do we have 1 or 2 years to develop? Maybe yes, maybe we do. At the end of the day, the club says we are going to win the title in 2 or 3 years' time. So every single player that we have essentially has 2 years until we're supposed to be competing for the title. Says, says flipping Manchester United, right? So 24 years old, in 2 years' time, once he's fully got, and everyone gets 2 years. That's also the new ethos. They've said everybody gets 2 years to show what they're made of. If you're not showing Manchester United in 2 years, then we're going to sell you. That has been something that we've now implemented. Another reason why, another reason why Højlund has gone. He's had his 2 years, and I don't think he's shown the club enough to keep him. So I think he's once again one for the future. I think the reason why the manager isn't throwing him in straight away is because, I'm not going to lie, guys, when we do see him play, the little 45 minutes here, and you can tell that the speed of the Premier League, he's not got used to it yet. You can tell he's just a bit slow. But not slow in terms of he's not quick over the grass, but slow in his play. It looks like he's thinking about things too much The Premier League is quicker than the Bundesliga. So we need to treat him almost the way we should have treated Højlund. We've got Xerxes now. We have Xerxes. So can we start Xerxes some games and bring on Sesko? Start Sesko some games and bring on Xerxes. Can we do this? I don't know, guys. You tell me. But once again, I am optimistic with this signing. I think a window where both the club and the fans identify that scoring goals was our main issue. The fact that we have bought a new front line is a good thing. We have 2 10s that the manager wanted with Cunha and Mbuemo. 2 of the players with the best output in the Premier League proven. We didn't get a Premier League proven striker, but we got the next best thing, apparently. One of the best young strikers in the world. That is a good window, guys. So far. So let me know, or at least a decent window so far. Let me know your thoughts on Sesko. Where do you see him fitting in? Do you think he's going to start more games? How good do you think he is? Let me see the chat as well quickly. Beach Bulldog, I don't know about Beleba. I don't watch Brighton. Just seen highlights, so I can't know anything. Lammens can either be a big hit or big flop, says Eddie. I think he's going to be a hit, says Eddie. Our new Courtois. So Eddie positive about the goalkeeper, or at least hopeful. I think hopeful is the right word, right? Because we don't know yet. We've got no evidence in the Premier League that he's going to be great. So, but Eddie says he thinks he's going to be a hit. Big up Eddie in the chat. Our new Courtois, says Eddie. British Bulldog says, I've seen Onana, not just clips, full games. I must be allowed a opinion. He's not a United goalkeeper. Yeah, British Bulldog. I think we could all agree Onana is not good enough. We've seen with our own eyes, all of us, all the mistakes he's made. Yeah, Onana right now, arguably, maybe is even 4th choice goalkeeper at the club. If you think about it, I mean, technically he's 3rd choice, but most people think Heaton's better than him. So right now, Onana is going from our number 1 goalkeeper, to our 4th choice goalkeeper in just like that. Yeah, British Bulldogs, he's not happy with the goalkeeper. Eddie, why would Højlund think he's better than Sesko? Do you believe the story is true? Says Eddie. I'm not gonna lie, Eddie, as a footballer, you believe you're better than everybody. Like, you need to understand the mentality that you need to have as a footballer. Like, if you are a footballer, you can't think someone's better than you. Like, you think every footballer thinks, not every footballer, but there's a lot of footballers, in their mentality is that you're the best footballer in the world. Or, you know what I'm saying? So, if you're Højlund and you're the same age as Sesko, and I can imagine Højlund looking at Sesko saying, especially when they're in training, and thinking, this guy is not much better than me. Why have you brought him to... Listen, you know me. The problem you're going to have with me, guys, is that I'm going to say I understand you. I understand the person on the left and the person on the right, the person who's up, the person who's down. I can say I understand, but I might not agree. But I understand if Højlund is saying that. I understand why he would say that. I don't even need to like Højlund to understand Højlund's point of view. I get that. Højlund's thinking, raw. In Højlund's head, he might be thinking he's improved. He's done this, he's done that. New season. Why are you getting another goalkeeper? You know, I hear that, Eddie. I get that. I do. If you're watching and you're not subbed, what are you doing? Yes, BB. Tell them again, BB. There he's chatting. 4 out of 10 from 15th finish. We Man United not good enough, and I like all the players we got. I think 4 out of 10 is I've seen that rating before. I understand why. Because we haven't addressed the midfield. There's certain things we haven't done. So I get it. TK said I'd comment on Sesko, but I'm too busy watching my Belgian league. TK, man. Ranjit, big up Ranjit in the chat. I will start Sesko. One thing though, Xerxes looks on it, says Ranjit. Big up Adieri in the chat as well. Big up. TK and Bieber make me laugh. Anyway, guys, chill. I need to separate it, but it's good. Listen, we need conversation. We need debates, bro. Like, it's healthy. As long as the debates are healthy, we can keep it. Listen, every football channel has these arguments, has debates, bro. It's what men do. We have conversations, we have arguments. It doesn't matter. It's not that deep. It's all a bit of fun anyway, guys. So we all know that. It's all love. So that's it. Sesko, listen, we ain't got a match for 2 weeks. 2 weeks without football. And a lot of us are going to be forced to watch international football. And I'm not going to lie, guys. Sometimes international football makes me cry of boredom. So we're going to find things to do. Lammens divides. Lammens, I've gone online. I've looked at people's tweets. Lammens divides opinion. Yes. Even in our small chat, with only small amount of subscribers, he's dividing opinions. And we fully understand why. I'm always going to, listen, BB, I get what BB is saying. I get it. Like, I'm not going to let BB feel like he's on an island by himself. I understand his perspective. I just don't fully agree. You know. So Lammens in. Cunha in. Mbuemo in. Sesko in. A whole new front line tick. This guy, Diogo Leon. What are people saying about Diogo Leon? One for the future again. However, he's a left back, or in this system potentially a left wing back. Dalot can play there. Dogu can play there. Are we going to see this player play football for this club this season? 1 game a week. Are we going to see Leon, guys? Are we going to see this guy? Because I've looked up, I saw a picture of Anthony holding ice cream. I think Anthony is Jesus in Real Betis. I think Anthony he's like Jesus, or like Michael Jackson. I don't know. The way that he's been treated at Real Betis is godlike, bro. It's crazy. But anyway, back to Diogo Leon. From what I've seen of Diogo Leon, and you guys can weigh in as well, he looks very raw. He's even like, listen, Dogu needs refining. I defend Dogu. Some of you guys don't like Dogu, but I've always said Dogu's physical attributes, his athletic attributes, good. Tick. Dogu needs to slow things down sometimes, think about what he's doing. There's some technical aspects of Dogu's game that he needs to improve on. Right? But in terms of playing a wing-back role, going up and down, the way the manager wants, that's what Dogu's doing. I've seen enough of Diogo Leon to think that he's even more raw than what Dogu is. Less polished than what Dogu is. But physically, this he's a kid. Yeah. How old is this guy? 17, 18? My Lord, he looks like a 25-year-old man. He's big, stocky, quick. His physical profile, this kid, is crazy. He will dominate. If he can refine his game, he can dominate his opponents physically. Maybe even more than Dogu does. And Dogu is not even, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know yet, guys, essentially. I don't know what this player is going to become. I've seen glimpses of him, just like you guys have. I'm not willing to put my hat on anything when it comes to this player at all until I get a better sample size of his games, until I can see him and truly assess him properly. We've seen a little bit in pre-season, but for me, that's not enough for me to assess him properly. Maybe a loan this year, 1 game a week, maybe a loan might do him well. I don't know. I really don't know, but this is just my thoughts, guys. Just my thoughts on Lyon. I want to hear yours, really. I want to hear your thoughts, so you can inform me as well. Big up Ranjit. Whoa. All right, guys.
This is interesting.
All right, guys.
Someone asked us, do you think Hoyland thinks he's better than people?
Someone asked in the chat, and it was Eddie, I think, in the chat, asked if he thinks Hoyland, if I think Hoyland thinks that he's better than Sesko. And it's quite interesting you asked that, because I saw this from Melissa Reddy, who is a journalist, and she's a trusted source, to be fair. And she said that some of the coaches felt that Rasmus Hoyland's biggest problem was he was too desperate to do well for Manchester United and would snatch at chances, plus rush his decision making. He was often starved of service and confidence. That's a decent assessment of Hoyland. I think he did snatch at chances, and I think playing for Man United and the pressure will make you do that. I've already said that I believe Cunha so far is snatching at his chances, hence why he's not scored. And Hoyland's decision making wasn't that great, so it makes sense that essentially it's the pressure. The pressure was making him do these things, and maybe going to a different league, going to Italy, to Napoli, we won't see the same things, the same mistakes. Maybe not. Maybe not. Eddie says Diogo Leon looks like a Chilean miner. It doesn't look like the conventional footballer Diogo Leon. He doesn't. But I hear what you're saying, Eddie. TK and BB, I need to separate you guys like children. Both of you guys need the naughty step in the chat. You know when best friends bicker, that's what I see. Brothers bickering. Remember, guys, we've got to respect each other's opinions in the chat, please. If you disagree, say you disagree and just say why. What we're doing? We are quickly. So that was cool. We had a good discussion about the 5 signings that we've had. Wanting you guys to weigh in, let me know what you thought about the signings. Asking you guys to, give your input on the situation. But we can move on. If you guys no longer want to talk about our signings. Let's quickly mention what's happening with Harry Amas. I think one of you guys also spoke about Harry Amas potentially, I think, on Monday. So basically, I saw this with regards to Harry Amas, and I thought it was quite interesting. To help Sheffield Wednesday during their financial struggles, Man United are paying for everything, apparently everything, to loan Harry Amas there. So I think I mentioned this before. His travel, his rent, everything is getting paid for. From wages to his accommodation costs, bonuses, everything. So he's basically playing on loan at Sheffield Wednesday for free. I thought that was quite interesting to show you guys, because I think Harry Amas is decent. When Harry Amas has played, I've said that I feel that he has the technical, especially the crosses that he was putting in with his left foot. I was like, this kid looks all right. He just, for me, he doesn't have the physicality yet. He's small. He's not the quickest. He's not the strongest. I feel like a loan move might do him well. But then again, I think to myself, guys, we've got Dorgu, who plays on the left. We've got Diogo Leon, who plays on the left. We've got Harry Amas, who plays on the left. Out of those three people, and the sample size isn't big in terms of, you don't have a lot of data to look at. We haven't seen Harry Amas play loads of games, or Diogo Leon play loads of games. So this question might be a bit unfair, but the question still stands. Out of those three, who would you play left wing back, guys? TK and BB shaking hands. Great. Good stuff. That's the difficulty of football. When people have strong opinions, it can get like that. I get it, people. This is also another bit of news before we go into Laurie Whitwell's inside article and talk about what actually went down. What actually went down behind the scenes? Why didn't we buy the midfield? Why didn't we get what we got? We will talk about it. And I think some of you guys might know a lot of these details already when we go through the article. But I think a bit of context behind everything will help us. Rather than, because a lot of us, we don't know why United did what they did. Why didn't they get midfield? Why didn't we get this goalkeeper? I feel like once we go through this article, and this article, of course, is Man United leaking things also to Laurie Whitwell. So you can still take it with a pinch of salt, because it's just coming from Man United, and of course, it's Man United's perspective of what happened. But it still does well to paint a picture and provide context regarding the whole transfer market. This also came in. Just want to bring this to you guys' attention regarding Manuel Ugarte and his comments with regards to his performances at the start of the season. And he just basically said that we haven't started the season very well. My level wasn't the best either, and we have to be realistic and honest. And I like that. When a player says, listen, we ain't started well, and my level, what I've been doing, hasn't been that great. Self-reflection is good. What we don't want is Ugarte saying we haven't done well and I don't know why. And I've done my thing, but the manager hasn't picked me, and no sort of accountability. He said, listen, I haven't been great. We have to be realistic and we have to be honest. I think that's a good thing. Anyone who can self-reflect and do that is already good in my books. But, you know, he's gone on to say he's very confident. He has a good relationship with the coach and he's working well and he's excited and eager going forward. Listen, that's a good thing. I like that comment, but I don't know, guys, if Ugarte, given this 2-year thing that we're going to give everybody, apparently, I can't see Ugarte being first choice central midfielder next year, guys. I can see Ugarte being one player on the list to be sold next year, if I'm being totally honest, guys. I can't see us keeping Ugarte unless something really big and drastic happens. He changes, his form improves, or he finds some ability that I haven't seen yet. I can't see Ugarte having a long Man United career. I'll be real, guys. I just can't see it. Eddie says Amas is not good enough for United. He can still have a decent career though. I hear that, Eddie. I like that. And that's, see, I like that, Eddie, because there's a belief, Eddie, that every single academy graduate needs to play for Man United. Like, don't forget there was a time, yeah, where we said that more Man United academy graduates were playing in the Premier League than any other academy graduate from any other club. That makes sense. Listen, just like you being an academy player for Man United doesn't mean you're going to get into Man United's first team, right? But it should mean if you, especially if you're a good player, you could go on and play for other clubs. Like, we need to get out of our heads that every decent academy graduate needs to play in the first team. Sometimes we need to send them on loan and sell them and make money off them. That's one of the reasons that you also have an academy, right? So I hear that, Eddie Blacks. I hear that totally. Let's go. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about this Laurie Whitwell article. There are some very interesting things, very interesting quotes and details that have come out of this post-embargoed article, guys. And I have taken the, let's say, the juiciest, the points that will garner the most conversation, the most debates, right? I've gone through this article so you don't have to, and taken some of the most important parts. So Amorim on Garnacho. Amorim on Garnacho. So this apparently should be all true, right? This is coming from the club. This is what happened behind the scenes. This is what some reporters couldn't report on because they weren't allowed to report on these things. This has been lifted, and they are now, especially Laurie Whitwell, going to start talking about it. Here we go. Amorim on Garnacho. Amorim felt Garnacho staring straight ahead was not listening to him as he gave him instructions before going on in the 81st minute for Casemiro. This was when the relationship started to get sour. Essentially, before Garnacho was coming on the pitch, Amorim was giving him instructions and Garnacho wasn't listening. He was blocking him out and just staring straight ahead. I think at that point, Amorim made his mind up that Garnacho was done at Man United. That's what's coming out of the club. United's position had been affected by Amorim making clear that Garnacho was persona non grata during an address to players at Carrington the day before the Villa game, in which he confirmed he was staying in charge. And this is where the quote, that famous quote that I think a lot of you guys know already, this is where it came from. He said, "You better hope you have a good agent this summer." That's all he said. So the quote that you guys heard, or that's been floating around about, you better, hope a club comes for you and all these things, that's not exactly what he said. He said, you better hope you have a good agent this summer. And Amorim told Garnacho this in front of the teammates. So that is true, people. That is actually what happened. So it's important that we know that this is coming from Laurie Whitwell, who works with the club. So it's important that we know that a lot of this is coming from the club, not from the player himself. This is not Laurie Whitwell being a journalist, looking at all the sources and this is him reporting what he's been told. But it's supposed to be the truth. Supposed to be. So that's that. Either way, Garnacho's gone now. Garnacho's gone. But the financials of a... Cool. Now let's go on to Andre Onana. What is Laurie Whitwell said about Onana? Not Onana, Martinez. This is quite interesting as well, guys. A lot of you guys, even now, want Martinez and wanted Martinez. This is what you guys are going to want to hear. Why didn't we get Martinez? So here we go. The financials of a deal always appeared implausible. Martinez earns more than Onana based on his contract signed last summer, running to 2029. And Villa would have demanded a transfer fee in excess of £30 million. So, Barada and Wilcox therefore regarded Martinez, who was sent off at Old Trafford in May for taking out Højlund, as an alternative. They preferred Lammens, who had been heavily scouted and could develop. United made a loan proposal for Martinez in a phone call with Villa, but it was rejected as anticipated and could be seen as something of a token gesture. Talks were refreshed in the final days of the window as a contingency in case Antwerp refused to budge on the price for Lammens. So essentially what I said before, Lammens was the first choice. Martinez, the deal was not really plausible. I think they were always using Martinez as, you know, a chip, a moving piece in order to get Lammens. That was always the case. And I think I said this to you. That's what the club was doing. Whether you agree or not, some of us agree and some of us disagree. The fan base is split, but that's what they were doing. Martinez financially was out of our reach. I don't think they wanted to spend that kind of money on that player and his wages as well. So some of you guys in the chat were right. The finances weren't financing. The monies weren't moneying when it comes to Martinez. That is true. But my question is, if we had £100 million to spare, would we go in for him? Or would we still say, no, we only want Lammens? That's the question. I don't know the answer to that question, actually. I think they could have. I think if we had £100 million in our back pocket and we weren't £500 million in debt or whatever we are and all these things, I think in a different universe, we would have got maybe Lammens and Martinez. I can definitely see that potentially. But it is what it is. And it's important for us to sometimes understand the context of things because it makes us see things differently. So this is Onana. This might be an interest to you. This is some of the information, some of the details that have now been released regarding Andre Onana. So here we go. Laurie Whitwell says, Onana came back to Carrington wanting a new contract. Let's just pause right there and understand that after the season that he had, the mistakes that Andre Onana made, he came back to Carrington wanting a new contract. Listen, talk about self-reflection. Talk about what the word you need to use. How can you be one of the reasons why we've had a bad season, and then you come in and ask for a new contract? At the same time, Ugarte is coming out saying, I haven't played well. I need to be better. And then here's Andre Onana coming back saying, I want a new... Listen, I've told you guys that I've defended Onana sometimes. Right? I'm not afraid to say... But what is this? I don't understand how Andre... It's so disappointing to hear that from him. Like, you cannot do that, Andre. What the hell? Anyway, and he did this since receiving the standard 25% cut for non-qualification of the Champions League. We know, guys, that in especially in modern day Man United contracts, we do have that 25% wage cut clause in the contracts. If you do not qualify for the Champions League, you get a 25% wage cut. He was one of the reasons why we did not qualify for the Champions League. Some of the mistakes he made. And then he comes back and he says, I need a new contract because I don't want to take the 20. Wow, people. Wow. I think that's all I can say. So let's find out more. Let's find out more, people. United did not intend to make a signing in the position when the window opened. But circumstances changed when Onana came back for pre-season. That's very interesting. Man United did not intend on signing a goalkeeper this summer. It wasn't, and I've told you this, when I said to you guys many times in this chat, all summer I said the goalkeeper, as much as you guys are screaming, is not a priority for Man United because they know the reason why X, Y, Z, whatever is attack. They prioritize the attack this summer. That's what they did. They weren't looking to get a goalkeeper. That is scary to a lot of us. To some of you guys in the chat, to hear that, it's scary. I get it. It is, but that wasn't their plan. And just because I'm reporting on what Man United are doing, guys, doesn't mean I agree with what Man United are doing. So they weren't looking to buy a goalkeeper. But Onana came back from pre-season and he reported an issue with his hamstring. Remember? Drake song. Anyway, on day one, he came back and reported an issue with his hamstring. And then he had a full injury on day two. So day one, issue with his hamstring. Day two, full-on injury now. This left the squad questioning what kind of shape he was in the summer in order to suffer these issues. So essentially, it sounds as if that he came back in a shape, right, where his professionalism was questioned. And you can't have made the mistakes that you made, go away the summer, get out of shape and come back. After that, all the mistakes you made, you need to be training during the summer. You need to be showing how serious you are. And I think that frustrated maybe people at United. For Amorim, the setback left a lasting impression. It left a lasting impression, with Binder selected in the first 3 Premier League games. I think that was the last straw for Amorim. That was the last straw, people. Onana was left out of the squad entirely for Arsenal, as we know, despite being fit to play. And Tom Heaton was named on the bench, as we know. Onana was surprised also when he was overlooked at Fulham. On reflection, the seeds, they've been sown at the end of the last season. Binder also started, let's not forget, Binder started the final Premier League game of the season against Aston Villa. So this is just a continuation, if anything, of the end of last season, but with a final nail in the coffin. As I said before, Onana came back wanting a new contract. Yet United made no efforts to sell Onana. So these things need to be understood, should I say. We haven't even now really made too much effort to sell him. Monaco were the only club really registering a interest in Onana. But they felt that his price was a bit too high. £30 million, I think, was reported, and Monaco declined to offer. Following the Fulham game, we're told that his representatives checked in with United to see if they want to sell him. But they were told, no. They were told, don't go and, you know, what's the word I'm looking, send out feelers and all these things. Don't do it because we want to keep him. So it's quite interesting how he's not the number one. The manager has made that clear. Buying there is. We've also signed another goalkeeper. Anyway, so following Bayern's sort of, I guess, uncertain display against Arsenal, United had activated and signed Lammens. So essentially, after your new number one goalkeeper, who's displaced Onana, has started making mistakes, that's when United said, okay, we've been speaking to Lammens, we've been tapping him up. We weren't fully sure we're going to go for him, but now we are going to pull the trigger and get him. We have to. So Radcliffe then decided to get a new goalkeeper then. It's quite interesting, guys, because a lot of you guys wanted Martinez, and I think you would be vindicated. British Bulldog, potentially vindicated, because Amorim wanted Martinez. Despite the fact that I like Lammens, I like the sound of Lammens, and 51% would have gone with Lammens. I said it before, he was my preference. The manager agrees with a lot of you guys. The manager wanted Martinez. Amorim felt that Martinez's character, his experience as a World Cup winner, would be hugely beneficial to United, which is essentially what a lot of you guys have been saying. After the Burnley game on Saturday, he referenced the pressure of Old Trafford, saying it is hard to be a Manchester United goalkeeper in this moment. So, and of course, we know why it didn't happen, because, as British Bulldog says, some of it was financial. Some of it was financial. So there we go, guys. It's important for us, especially on this channel, to try and have a more informed opinion. I think I talk about critical thinking, all these things. Listen, we've got a bit of an insight now on what decisions were made and why the club, what they did, and etc. And I think it's important for us to know this. Context is important, people. This is just a bit of news as well coming out today, and the news really is that now that we've got a new goalkeeper, United are now more open to selling Andre Onana. So Turkey, Saudi Arabia, these are the sort of clubs that are sniffing around. So Andre Onana could still go. It could go on. I think the loan market, can we still send players on loan? I think we can still send players on loan. So Andre Onana could still leave this club on loan. And Saudi Arabia market doesn't close until the 23rd of September. So we'll continue to watch out for Onana, see where he goes. But that is a bit of context. Now we understand, now we know, according to Manchester United, what was going on, why things happened, what the manager was thinking, what the club wanted to do, so on and so forth. This article is very, very expansive. Like I said, I'm just taking some of the key parts from the article. So big up the chat before I go on. Big up Ranjit as well. Said if we were flush, we would have Watkins and Martinez. We were interested in both, said Ranjit. It's true. You are right. British Bulldog says, let's hope they start Lammens. Any keeper is an upgrade. Yeah, he should definitely be better than the goalkeepers that we have. So let's now discuss Laurie Delap. Let's find out what actually happened with Laurie Delap. Let's get the information from Manchester United. Let's understand behind the scenes why we didn't get this player. So, in the same article, Ornstein goes on to say that United felt that they had a real chance to get Delap. We know that Delap was the first target, the first striker target on our list. We really wanted to get him. So United had a real chance of getting him, with Barada and Wilcox meeting him on May the 19th in Manchester. We have to understand this. We met with him. Our CEO, Barada, and Wilcox both met with Delap in May. All the way back in May in Manchester. We spoke to this player. He was interested. He wanted to come. We were one of the front runners. However, as we all know, our failure in winning the Europa League final, missing out on the qualification for the Champions League, was one of the major factors why he didn't say yes to Manchester United. We also know that he's from Chelsea's academy, isn't he? He's a Chelsea lad. So you also have that. You also have that factor as well. People sense that Delap's history at Manchester City. I said Chelsea player, but I think he's a City player. Anyway, people think that his sort of history at Man City, where he spent around 5 years, kind of meant that he was reluctant to come to Manchester United. So, excuse me, I meant City, not Chelsea. His history with Man City. So, I think most of you kind of knew this. I think most of us knew that we spoke to him. Most of us knew that it was between us and Chelsea. I don't think that's anything new per se that we've learned from this article, but the Danny Welbeck situation. The Danny Welbeck situation is interesting. So, in that same article, we learn people that United were seriously looking at signing a secondary striker at the other end of the spectrum. It can be disclosed that United explored conditions for bringing in Danny Welbeck, people. Imagine, guys, Danny Welbeck coming back to Old Trafford. I don't know what the chat's thoughts on that are, but Erik Ten Hag wanted to sign Welbeck last year, people. Last year, Erik Ten Hag wanted to sign Welbeck. But apparently United couldn't progress the deal amid a new executive structure and the uncertainty on the manager. They returned to the prospect again. Welbeck was Brighton's joint top scorer in the Premier League last season with 10 goals alongside João Pedro and Mitoma, and United felt he would add experience, technical quality and heritage to the squad after spending 6 years at Old Trafford. So this one surprised me, people. I'm not going to lie. I never hated Welbeck. Welbeck's issue was that he's not a main striker. Welbeck's issue is that, similar to Xerxes in a way, Welbeck is not a cold finisher. He's not a gunsman. He's not that kind of player. But similar to Xerxes, his ability to link play, his ability to control the ball, his speed, his dynamism, he's technically sound. He doesn't have much. Listen, he's not a gunsman. He's not going to get you 25 goals a season. That's his issue. Similar to Xerxes. So as much as my initial thoughts is to poo-poo this. My initial thought is to be thinking, why would we get Welbeck? Like, are we that rubbish of a club to be signing Danny Welbeck? That's my initial thought. You don't sign a player that you sold 6 years ago, that's just weird. But when I put my emotions to the side, I'm like, hold on a second. Secondary striker? He's not the main striker. He's the backup guy that's going to come on for 10, 20 minutes. Cheap. He's a Manchester lad. He's from Manchester. Yes, he's old, but low cost. Listen, In an ideal world, I would not do it. I wouldn't. But given limited choices in a limited striker market, I understand why we might look at him. That's basically what I'm saying. I understand why we might look at Danny. I've always liked Danny. Always. When we sold Danny, who sold Danny? Who sold him? Was it Moyes? Who sold Danny Welbeck? Was it Moyes? Was it Lou Van Gaal? Lou Van Gaal. That's it. Lou Van Gaal sold Danny. I didn't want Danny to go. And I have arguments with people. I said, yeah, I think Danny Welbeck is technically a better footballer than Marcus Rashford. Watch his chat explode now. Watch the chat explode. Listen, I might die on that sword. I might do. But I've never had any beef with Welbeck. I think he's worked hard at United, had decent years at United. Just he's not a clinical striker. That's it. So, yeah, I thought that would be interesting to know that United, seriously, guys, Manchester United, seriously, over the last year and a half, were thinking about bringing Danny. Listen, I'd rather bring Danny Welbeck back to United than get Dominic Calvert-Lewin on the free. I would. So the article also talks about Dominic Calvert-Lewin, talks about us considering him. Praise God that we didn't get him, because I don't want Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And of course, the article talks about this Project 90 thing that I'm pretty sure you guys are all excited to try to understand. What is this Project 90? British Bulldog says he's much better than Rashford. So, yes, British Bulldog, we agree. We agree. High five. Listen, I'll say that he's better than Rashford. I just feel like his Welbeck's fundamentals, I always talk about fundamentals, are like Welbeck would control the ball 90% of the time. Rashford's first touch sometimes is heavy. Like, I just feel like Welbeck is a more rounded player than Rashford, but I think my opinion might be in a minority here. Apart from British Bulldog, who agrees. What is Project 90? Before we go, guys, what is this damn Project 90? Listen, before we go, you guys will have known some details that a lot of channels haven't discussed, a lot of people haven't been privy to. Whether these details will change your life, no. But we now have a bit more context about what was going on behind the scenes, who we're trying to get and why. And like I said, I've only taken some parts of the article, not all the parts of the article. If you want to read the article, don't waste your time. You might bore yourself to death. So I hope I've given the more important parts to you guys. Anyway, man just slapped me in the face. It's supposed to be high five. All right, Spud. Respect, my brother. Respect. I wasn't high five ready. I wasn't ready. All right. Before we go, what's Project 90? Let's understand what the club is talking about when they say Project 90. Just so we are informed, Manchester United fans. We know what we're talking about when we talk about things. So let's inform our damn selves. What is Project 90? Anyway, Manchester United culture continues to shift in the right direction. This might piss off British Bulldog. British Bulldog, I don't want to piss you off, but we're moving in the right direction, yeah? This Project 90 is an initiative to improve United's balance sheet by £90 million each year. That's what it is. We aim to improve our balance sheet, or let me not say we. Manchester United aim to improve their balance sheet by £90 million each year by operating savings or via operating savings, commercial contracts, and player trading and broadcast revenue. And I saw this and I'm like, okay, what's new? That's every club tries to get money by those means. What are you talking about? As you can see, from that graph, whether you understand it or not, we are apparently having a net loss of 116 million pounds. Well, that's 2022 anyway. Right? Right? And that's going to continue. One of the things that they're trying to do, guys, is as well. I don't know if you can use this summer as an example, but you could do, because I think that if you add up all the potential fees that we could receive from players this summer, I think it will be well above 90 million pounds. If Højlund's activated his clause, Rashford, so on and so forth. So what do you guys think about this anyway? Because I'm thinking this, what else can I say about this? Like, it's very, I don't know what to say, because it's like, essentially they're saying, guys, we are going to make, which we are planning to make 90 million pounds every year from these three means: operating savings, commercial contracts, and player trading. In my mind, I'm thinking, so aren't you supposed to be making money? Like, I don't get it, because it seems as if this internal stuff should be internal. It seems as if you talking about how much money you want to make each year and whatever. Why are you letting the fans know this? Why are you telling the fans that each year we're trying to make 90 million pounds to improve our balance sheet by these three means? And I don't really get it, guys. I like to report things to you lot, yeah, and ask your opinion. But with this one, I'm like, okay, cool. You want to make 90 million pounds every year. Great. Next. Literally, that's what I'm like. I'm like, they've made this Project 90, Project 90, Project 90. So what? Project 90 is just you guys wanting to make 90 million pounds. That's what Project 90 is. I'm all thinking, when I first saw Project 90, I'm thinking this is going to be some sophisticated plan about 90 minutes of playing, about something, right? I mean, I read this. So basically, the gist of it is that you want to make 90 million pounds through different means, or 90 million pound profit every year if you can. Great. I want to fly every year. I want to fly right now. You know, like, I don't. And the one thing we know is that if they can't make the money through player, because these are the three means, right? Player trading and broadcast revenue in one, commercial contracts and operating savings. We've already seen how they've made savings. We've already seen, whether you like it or not, them fire the tea lady, fire the masseuse, fire the this and fire that, right? Trying to make savings. So we've seen it happen. They can't do that every year. You're going to run out of people to fire, right? So next year, you can't do that. You can't do that next year. And you've let go of, you sold 5 or 6 players this summer. You're not going to sell 5 or 6 players next summer. Or are you? How much more are we going to sell? How much more partnerships are we going to have? Sell the stadium, right? Sell this, sell that. I don't know, guys. When I first heard of Project 90, and I said to myself, let me read into this. But I'm just like, okay, great. Okay, cool. I don't know what else to say to you lot about this. Literally. Bulldog says, I'm a reformed character now. I'm going to like everything. No, BB. We don't want you to like everything. We need you to criticize when you want to criticize, bro. British Bulldog wages saved also is massive. That is true, British Bulldog. I agree. I love it when. I love it. What can they? Oh, I love it. What can they do? Ranjit says an extra 90. Yeah, sorry, an extra 90 million. They want to recoup an extra 90. And also, you know, when I see stuff like that, guys, when I see the club coming out with Project 90 and how much money they're gonna make, yeah, what it also does is remind me that these guys use debt. They finance the club on debt, and it just reminds me that the reason why we cannot spend 300 million net, yeah, Man United are still the most, like, we're huge. Loads of our money goes on financing the debt, and when I see Project 90 and about how we can make 90 million a year and all these things, it reminds me how many millions and hundreds of millions goes out to financing this debt. It reminds me about what these Glazers have done, and I think to myself, why are the people at the very top who've sucked our club dry, yeah, why are they always trying to get us to concern ourselves with their finances? Why are they always trying to get us to make them richer, to be like, oh, so these players get this? Some of this money don't get reimbursed into the squad and it goes to Joe Glazer's pocket. This Project 90, if we are making £90 million extra a year, can Ineos and the Glazers guarantee that that money goes straight back into the club and no one's taking it out with dividends? British Bulldog says, I'm on Project 8 pounds 50 here. I said Project 8 pound 50. So usually I'm very opinionated when it comes to some things like this. With this, guys, I'm just letting you know what Project 90 is. These guys have got some plan to make £90 million extra every year, and if they ain't firing everybody to make it, they'll do something else. They'll sell a seat in the stadium. They'll sell a stand, or they'll sell this right. Anything's up for grabs. Anything is. That's why Kobbie Mainoo was also somebody that they could have sold. They could have sold, guys. Ranjit says 60 million on the interest. Just the interest alone. Anyway, guys, just to finish, news up on Kobbie Mainoo. Just so we're all informed, know what's going on. Fabrizio hasn't been the greatest this summer. He's been hit and miss. I'm not a greatest fan of one person having like control of the whole transfer market. I'm not a greatest fan of every single person waiting for one man to say, here we go. When did this guy become so powerful? I think we made this guy powerful. We decided to say Fabrizio Romano, wait for the here we go. And for some reason, he just became powerful because we gave him all this power. It's very strange. But anyway, Kobbie Mainoo after the Fulham game went directly to Ruben Amorim and to the club with his agent to say, I'm not happy because here I do not play. So it's clear that Kobbie Mainoo has been unhappy for a while, even before the season started, guys. And definitely after the Fulham game, he was saying, listen, I'm not happy. Man United internally decided, from what I'm told, that Sir Jim and also Jim was involved, that they couldn't sell Kobbie Mainoo. So the decision was made. Everyone involved, the CEO, the coach, the owner, they were not selling Kobbie. But, you know, it goes on to say that there could be some interesting months ahead if Kobbie Mainoo still doesn't play. Will Kobbie Mainoo be on the bench? So if Kobbie Mainoo is not playing and January comes around, guys, this topic will rear its head. I think we're at crossroads here, because if the manager doesn't believe Kobbie Mainoo fits into his system, he will leave, or the club will have a decision to make. Are you going to put, because they put faith in the manager so far, got rid of all the players that he wanted to get rid of, so on and so forth. Are they going to do the same with Kobbie? Are they going to do the same with Kobbie? That's the interesting. Are the media, the manager, are going to convince people? Because there's two ways to get rid of a player. You can get the media and the fan base to hate the player, i.e. force them out that way, by making it really uncomfortable for them to be there. That's one way. And I just hope that we just don't turn on Kobe because the manager starts to call him lazy. All it takes is for one tweet that says Kobe doesn't want to fight for his place, and all of a sudden everyone's like, Kobe's lazy, get rid of him. I hope we don't do this to Kobe. And we understand the games that the clubs play. Understand the games that the clubs play when it comes to football players. Anyway, that is the embargoed information. Some of the information we know already. Some of it is just giving us more context, and some of it is stuff that we haven't even thought about or we didn't know. But you guys now know. So big up the chat. I know it was a lot of quotes to go through, but we went through it together. So big up the chat for sticking with me, for staying. We started off by talking about our signings, trying to be a bit positive about our signings. We had conversations about our goalkeeper. And as I said before, a goalkeeper, it divides opinions. Both sides of the argument. I get both sides of the argument, people. I keep saying this. Spoke about Cunha, how he could fit in, what we think of him, what we think of that signing. We then went to Mbuemo, then Sesko, and of course, Lyon. Touch on Harry Amas and his situation with Sheffield Wednesday. And of course, we ended with the embargoed Laurie Whitwell article where he just basically dished the dirt and spoke about what was going on behind the scenes during this transfer window at Manchester United. So that was your show, people. It is your first show after the transfer window has closed. I hope everyone's had a good day, enjoyed the show. Quite a spicy show. Quite a spicy show, but it's good that we have these shows to show that we can have conversations, we can disagree and still shake hands also. It's a small community, so of course when people disagree in terms of their opinions, guys, we have to be respectful as much as we can. And because it's a small community as well, it's going to sometimes feel bigger than it actually is. But big up the chat. It's been a good one. It's been a good show. Big up Ranjit as well, my guy. British Bulldog, as usual. TK jumped in the chat. TK and British Bulldog are twins. They're brothers, despite what you might think in the chat. Big up Adieri. Big up Eddie as well. Yeah, hopefully a quicker show today. But still a good show. Big up Jerry and Shivam, people. Yeah, I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the week. There will be a show, potentially be a show tomorrow. Like I said, we're going to start having to do different content. So we're working on different shows as well for you guys. So stay tuned. We're working on different new content. The tactical analysis of the Burnley game is up. It's got a decent amount of views. I think it's got 300 to 400 views now. If I can get 1,000 views on that video in the next few days, I would be happy. Hopefully, you know, that video will get about 2,000 to 3,000 views in the next few weeks. But the video's up, and it's doing well. The channel is slowly growing and doing decently. Today's been a very interesting day in the chat. Very interesting day in the chat. But big up the chat, as I said before. Don't forget, guys, it's easier to love than it is to hate. Enjoy the rest of your week. If I do a show tomorrow, I will put the notifications on and announce my show very early. So just look out. Always look out for notifications, guys, because now the transfer market is closed. There's no absolute certainty that there's going to be a show every single day at 7:15. No absolute certainty. So look out for the notifications. I think that's it, guys. I think that is it, unless there's anything that the chat wants to talk about. Just shout, comment below if there's anything else you want to speak about. Other than that, I think we are absolutely good here. People, we need football, people. We need football, and we need it to come back. This 2 weeks is going to be very, very interesting. Don't forget the fantasy football code is on the screen. We're going to have to touch base with regards to fantasy football and find out what the hell is happening. So we're going to have to talk about that as well. We're going to have to retouch our predictions. We did a prediction where we predicted the league standing, guys. We did it together. A lot of change. I did say that our prediction at the start 3 weeks ago, after 3 weeks, after about 3 or 4 games, we're going to change our predictions. So we're going to have to revisit our Premier League predictions as well. Like I said, I'm working on shows where it will be split screen and I will have other content creators and we will be having conversations. So I'm working on those type of shows as well for you guys. So stay tuned, stick with the channel, stick with the community. It's good to be here. We're going to have fun this year. Big everyone up and have a beautiful